the most miserable man on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is with his, his face says it all. The responses to the State of the Union, just to keep it rolling in. They've been grinding over this shit. Like Don Jr. has one. Glenn Beck swore on the air. He F-bombed on the air because of this. And I have to be careful because he's fucking new to this and he can't say fuck very well and he has a hard time, he's fucking around with saying fuck and it's new to him. And so I don't expect him to nail it, stick the landing as it were. So, and then, oh God, we'll get back to her. So let's go back to Greg Kelly, the most miserable man on the internet. Now this is 15 minutes long and no one needs that much Greg Kelly in their life. So we'll probably bail out if he doesn't offer some sort of magic.
The lies about January 6th are coming from him, and so is the cover-up.
The lies about January, which part? Also, why not include that in your clip, you lazy bastard?
And you notice he was all mad there. Well,
yeah, why would anybody be mad about people attacking the Capitol? Why? What's upsetting? Greg, excellent point, my friend. What is upsetting about someone bringing the fucking Confederate flag into our nation's capital and walking around? Something that didn't even happen during the Civil War, that they managed to do it on that day. Who the fuck shows up? I mean, who would be upset that maggots were showing up at a Donald Trump rally with a giant Confederate flag in tow? Can't imagine.
He stayed mad no matter what he was talking about.
No, he didn't. He was kind of funny about some of this stuff. He was like, all right, far out. You guys don't want to do this shit? Well, I'll take the money back if you want.
That's America. That's you, the American people. It's because of you America's coming back. It's because of you our future is brighter. It's because of you.
It's because of you our future is brighter. And he's yelling and he's mad.
Well, I would say he's passionate about it, and I love the fact that you took the context off the top of it in an attempt to do that. But the idea is that people are saying it's because, any successes that came out of Trump, or came out of, 2020, before 2021 and all that shit, that was all Trump, that Trump's fucking magic. It isn't. It's you. It goes along, I would argue, with you didn't build that idea about the fucking roads and bridges and buildings that your businesses are in, and the idea that somehow, like, I don't need anything fucking, this country never gave me nothing. I did it all myself. You're like, yeah, did you go to public school? Yes. Did you go to, did you eat food that the FDA made sure wasn't poisonous? Yes. Did you fucking invent that when you were a child? Did you, no. It's the same shit.
Little so-called upbeat line brought on the same kind of fury.
Above all, I see a future for all Americans. I see a country for all Americans. And I will always be president for all Americans because I believe in America. I believe in you, the American people. You're the reason we've never been more optimistic about our future than I am now. So let's build the future together. Let's remember who we are. We are the United States of America.
This is the opposite of a motivational speaker, right?
No, it isn't. As a matter of fact, most motivational speakers...
We're honored to have with us today our amazing Vice President, Mike Pence, and his wonderful wife, Carrot.
Most motivational speakers use music.
We'll heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your...
Sorry. Most motivational speakers will eventually get to a point where they're sick of your shit, where they're not, coddling you in it, and they'll go, they'll scream you're a loser at you or something to get you to fight back a little bit. You get to that point. Also, he's kind of dealing with women's rights being taken away and Ukraine funding being denied by a motherfucker who actually is for it but won't let it go because Donald Trump. So, yeah.
He is demotivating people. He's freaking them out.
Really? So he's demotivating people? So if so he made you less optimistic, Greg, about America. He made you less bullish on America because he was yelling. That's what did it. He needs to speak a little softer for you. Does he, Glenn? Is it too much? It's too much, isn't it? But it's okay, Glenn. It's okay. It's freaking me out. He's yelling at the
This is not inspirational. This is just angry and weird. One more.
Well, then I don't understand why you don't like it, dude. Because as I understand it, that was the original title of your show.
America, the land of possibilities. You need a vision for the future and what can and should be done.
The land of possibilities.
Yeah, he's contrasting it to somebody who wants to take us backwards. That was why the beginning part of it. That's hence the emotion. It is a positive statement tacked on top of this motherfucker wants to wreck shit. We gotta build something good. Like that's it, the emotion carried over from the first part that you lovingly excised.
Damn it. All right. So I hear that's a symptom possibly of a condition he might have, may or may.
Oh, yeah, a symptom of a condition he may or may not have.
I heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
Okay, what? Hey, Dr. Kelly, what's that a symptom of? Seriously, it's one of two things. Either he's got like dementia, or somebody just stuck their thumb up his ass and he was surprised that he liked it. That one of those two things, or he pooped. I suppose that's the other kind of look who's talking moment.
I heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat your.
Sorry. All right, where were we?
Not have. Everybody's talking about the Laken Riley moment. You know about Laken, the 22.
Oh yeah, your new Ashley Babbitt,
2-year-old woman who was murdered by an illegal immigrant who should have been never let into the country, but was let go by federal authorities in Texas and then again local authorities here in New York City after he threatened a child, allegedly. Wow. Anyway, I
threatened the child? Just the child? What do you mean? That he had a child with her? Finish the fucking sentence, dummy.
I saw something during that Laken moment that I know you did too, or maybe you didn't. Take a
But yeah, we probably didn't. You know, that's why you're here, Greg.
look.
It's not about him. It's not about me. I'd be a winner. Not really. Lincoln Riley, an innocent young woman who was killed by an illegal. That's right. But how many of thousands of people being killed by illegals? To her parents, I say, my heart goes out to you, having lost children myself. I understand.
No, you don't. He's talking about the children he lost in a car accident in 1972.
Yeah, nobody, or the son he lost to brain cancer from burn pits after he served in Iraq.
He talks about them, quite frankly, forgive me, way too much.
Really? Yeah. What's the line, Greg? What's the what's the Greg Kelly meter on when someone can stop bringing up the day they woke up and their wife and daughter were fucking dead? Jesus Christ.
But that was a car accident. Car accidents happen every day in.
Right. So stop it. Get over it. And it's not like things changed after that car accident to make cars safer, and he was a participant in that process. It's weird.
America since the invention of a car, and we keep driving. No one's calling for the repeal of cars. We need them. But his policies directly led to the death as we all know, of this young woman.
No, we don't. Because the same special dispensation for Venezuelans started under Donald Trump.
He was ready for this. He used it as a prop. He used her name literally as a prop, not to
He wasn't ready for this. Marjorie Taylor Greene handed her that fucking button. Handed him that fucking button.
Yes, getting it wrong. But look at this. I noticed when he heard Marjorie Taylor Greene going there about Laken Riley, there was a small smile. He was ready. I'm going to turn the tables on the Republicans.
Jesus Christ. That's your body language expertise there, Greg. That's fucked up. So that's, first of all, even like all issues aside, everyone thinks Marjorie Taylor Greene's a fucking joke. And until you register even your rage at what she's fucking talking about, the fact that she even pipes up before you even hear what the fuck she's talking about, and she's like, say her name or something, to like, I took your fucking button. Right. That's where he's going. And this idea that, I mean, what the fuck is Mike Johnson's face doing? Look at Mike Johnson. Like, why is that not a, we got you now? Like, who cares? This is fucking stupid. I don't even know why I'm breaking this down. He's a lunatic.
Anyway, it's Laken, not Lincoln. How could he mess that up on that stage? I will be honest, the first time I heard the name, I was briefly confused right here before the show. I got it straight. He's doing the stage.
She said, all right, Marjorie Taylor Greene said Lincoln Riley after in an interview afterwards.
To the union, he's the president. He can't get it straight. We heard from Laken Riley's mother on Facebook. She's not happy. Biden does not even know my child's name. It's pathetic. If you are going to say her name, even when forced to do so, at least say the right name, of course.
By the way, the idea that somebody like Greg Kelly is going to jump on her pain, and I mean, they're politicizing it. And I'm sure, I have no reason to doubt that like Allison Phillips is going through hell right now with the death of her daughter and is raging about it. And were Trump president and had been one of the Venezuelans that came through during that time, do I know that she would go against him or blame him or just say that's why we need more wall or whatever politically? Doesn't fucking matter. The fact that they would jump on what she's doing, and Greg Kelly, who couldn't give less of a fuck, honestly, puts this up on the screen with a picture of her and her mom and this piece or whatever. No brownie points earned for this one. Look at the name of this. Look at the fucking title, the chyron on this. No brownie points earned for this one. Imagine yourself, ladies and gentlemen, imagine sitting down with your fucking editor or your producer before you start your show for the night, and you're going to come up with stuff to write in that. Or you hire someone that you trust to do it, that's worked there all the time, and they do this constantly. And this is the quality of what they come up with. No brownie points earned for this one. Never mind the correlation to brown-skinned person, all that kind of stuff that's hidden in that as well. But whether accidentally or on purpose or not at all, but Jesus Christ, that's your way to hit it home. That's your way of telling us that you care and Biden doesn't.
Of course. Hey, but at least we have a strong media, especially a strong conservative media, to note these things and to call them out when they happen. That did not happen on Fox News.
What didn't? That his weird smile about it, or that he said Lincoln instead of Laken? And is the emotion wrong because he misspoke the word or the name? Is that the issue? Because I am actually somebody who is genuinely talking about the emotion of the thing or trying to make a point, and then you misstate someone's name is very different, and I would say superior to being like a vulture on their loss and using it for your own political needs, like him and like MTG, who honestly don't give a shit.
My jaw dropped. I was going around the dial, and they're
The dial? You watching TV on the bus again, Greg?
providing commentary about the speech, what just happened. And here's what Martha McCallum of Fox News say happened, but it didn't happen.
Where he said he would use executive orders when it came to police reform. Did mention Lincoln Riley, exchanged back and forth with Marjorie Taylor Greene, who was wearing a T-shirt that said "Say her name." Did mention her name, sent condolences to the family.
Okay.
Okay. I just learned her name, and in a couple of months, if you bump into me, I'm not gonna know the name. I'm gonna say Lincoln because thanks to Trump, I just found out he was a Republican. Most people don't know that. But
He botched the name. Was Martha chit-chatting with Brett at the time? I mean, they fly him down there, they get him hotel rooms, you're a paid observer, and you missed that? Or
yeah, it's weird, Greg, because I had the same question about how you missed this.
Well, I heard that Saudi Arabia and Russia will repeat.
You know, Greg, I don't know why you didn't report on that. It was such a standout moment in that Trump speech, and I know you love him so much.
I heard that Saudi Arabia.
are you just covering for the Bidens, as a lot
Yeah, that's what they're doing.
of folks at Fox News tend to do, don't they? All right. Then there was this moment.
4 years ago next week, before I came to office, the country was hit by the worst pandemic and the worst economic crisis in a century. Remember the fear, record losses. Remember the spikes in crime and the murder rate, raging virus that took more than 1 million American lives, of loved ones, millions left behind. A mental health crisis of isolation and loneliness. A president, my predecessor, failed the most basic presidential duty that he owes to American people, the duty to care. I think that's unforgivable.
Glad somebody said something.
I'm glad somebody said something. I couldn't make out what it was. I think they just barked at him. Honestly, I think it sounded like, quite frankly, something I hear on the bus every day.
He said that's unforgivable. Number one, Joe brags about being a devout Catholic.
Well, and yet Trump doesn't seem to know what a Catholic is. With Catholics, you keep hearing about Catholics. What is this Catholic shit? I'm a Catholic. Who presents Catholic? What's happening with the Catholics? Anybody know what's going on with the fucking Catholics?
Brags about knowing the Pope.
Does he? Is that one of the big Biden name drops? He brags about knowing the Pope. I saw the SOTU. I don't know that I've seen all of them. I don't know that he's brought it up. That's very strange.
The word unforgivable is not a word that Christians should be all that familiar with. There's almost nothing conceivable that is unforgivable.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll tell you what, Greg. I look forward to the forgiveness episode. When do you have it? Once a week? How about this? How about every fucking Monday? It's Monday. You obviously went to church yesterday. You got all dressed up in your Sunday worst, and you got on the bus, and you took the bus down to whatever church hasn't asked you to leave for mumbling during the sermon. And you sit there, and you try your best to absorb what the preacher's saying. And one thing that seems to have gotten through is that because Biden said unforgivable, that he's anti-forgiveness, and therefore, as an action, by the way, to allow him not as a human being and not in the greater sense, he can always ask forgiveness of the Lord. We're talking about earthbound forgiveness, but never mind. That's not important. The important thing, Greg, is that you know what forgiveness is, and Biden doesn't, and you're going to show everybody. So every Monday, you're going to open your show with the people you forgive, and you can't start with the people that you like. Whoo, that's cheating. You got to start immediately with you forgive Hunter Biden for all of his transgressions that you see and you believe he's done. You forgive Joe Biden for all the wrong you see him doing with the whole unemployment rate staying below 4% and the rising stock market and stuff like a bastard. You forgive him for that. And you forgive the Obamas for being black, largely, I guess. Whatever gets that, that burden off your chest, and you can be a shining example, Greg, to all the rest of us. A true, the standard bearer, if you will, of forgiveness in media. Now, of course, you're just going to go back to being a dick, and this is just a moment of bullshit piousness. I get it, but
Yet he is lying about Donald Trump.
Why? He's not lying. He's stating an opinion. That, nobody can tell if he cared. They can just go by his actions, which he clearly was like, I heard, you can shove a light bulb up your ass, or maybe we take the lungs and pour disinfectant in them, maybe do a good cleaning on the lungs. You're going to look into that, right? You said you're going to get doctors looking into that or whatever, which is stupid. So first and foremost, it's fucking stupid. But on top of being stupid, it's uncaring nonsense.
Who displayed immense compassion.
Did he? How about tell that to the people who were on the fucking cruise ship. Remember when there were like 48 cases on the cruise ship off the coast of San Francisco, and he didn't want them to land so they could get fucking health care because he thought it would jack up his COVID numbers?
And not fake compassion, but the compassion where he wants people to do something.
No, he's passing the buck. That's what that was. It was like, I want somebody to do something so I can go back to golfing, you fucking pricks. That's right. Hold on one second. It would have to be I have sinned against you. All right.
He wants to save the country. As this thing was taking off.
No, he didn't. He wanted to save the fucking economy. He put off doing anything about it because he wanted to finish his deal with China. This whole, it was the China virus and the China flu and the Wu flu and the Wuhan flu and all that shit that he was saying. For fuck's sake, he held off on all that stuff because he was trying to sign the first phase of his 3-phase China deal, which never fucking happened and they never lived up to anyways.
The fake news was there saying, oh, no, it's not a big deal. Listen to this exchange.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've also said that at one point that you thought more people might die from the economic tragedies and the economic problems in America due to the coronavirus outbreak. What health officials are telling you that? And Dr. Fauci, could you speak to that, the idea that there might be mental health and suicide related to this? Would that outpace at some point the virus's impact on this society?
Well, I could ask Dr. Fauci to come up, but it's common sense. You're going to have massive depression, meaning mental depression. You're going to have depression in the economy also, but you're going to have mental depression for people. You're going to have large numbers of suicides. One day they have nothing. They've gotten wiped out. One day from our enemy, this invisible, horrible scourge.
Scourge, you dipshit. Secondly, the point is they're looking at this is in March. This is when they're talking about the balancing act between lockdowns and mandates and the like versus, just letting it run rampant, which is what his suggestion was. And she's like, where are you hearing that more people will die from the emotional impact or suicide than the actual disease itself? Because that was his argument. He was like, no, we're going to lose more people who kill themselves than people from the disease. We lost like 1 million too. There weren't anywhere near those levels of suicides, or certainly not extra suicides, than we normally unfortunately have in any society over that. But that's what he was arguing. That's what he was doing. It's like the lockdowns are going to kill more people than the disease itself. That's what he was arguing. And he was arguing to keep shit open. And he was arguing this while he was trying to finish his trade deal with China.
So when you ask me that, it's so easy to figure that. I mean, massive drug use, massive depression, mental depression, massive numbers of suicide.
Which, by the way, what? Like, did not happen. We had, because of COVID, we had fentanyl deaths, overdose deaths, go over 100,000 for the first time ever, right? And they're coming back down. But during that window, during the entirety of it, and then usually like from April to April of 2020 into 2021, that was when we had 100,000 people that had died, 108,000, 112,000, whatever it was. It was over 100,000 for the first time. Normally, it's like 70 to 80. It wasn't that all of those happened because of this thing. There was an addition of those. But a lot of that was just rolling stuff on top of stuff. And as sad as it is, it's not like it doubled the number or tripled the fucking number or any of that shit. And to suggest that we should have just let fucking Delta rip, which is what he was suggesting, and, to protect against this, 20K rise in possible overdoses, because he didn't know at the time. And again, what does that say when your president is like, people are going to be fucking offing themselves? What does that say to somebody who's like on the edge of it? Like, oh shit, maybe the end is nigh. What a nutcase.
Anxiety causes, disease, they say.
No, anxiety doesn't cause disease. Not that, people didn't get COVID from worrying about COVID. If that was possible, I would have died of AIDS-related spontaneous combustion in 1993. What the fuck?
He was totally right.
No, he wasn't. No, he was not. He was not. We didn't have anywhere near the same number or even close numbers of people doing themselves in or dying of drug overdoses that we had dying from COVID. It was all the extra deaths. I mean, we're talking 1.2 million, you dumb motherfucker. This is terrible.
It's amazing, the fake news. Well, we have not heard that yet from Dr. Fauci. How can you say such a thing? He's using his talents, his brain.
His talents, his brain, wait, hold on. I think I have it here. Where is it? It had to be, no, it'd be this one. Maybe. He says it at one point. The son of a bitch. Where are you? Yeah, here it is. This
Very
one.
large a brain.
Yeah, when he's talking about himself.
Very large a brain.
Mm-hmm.
An enormous, really an enormous.
Yeah. So, what talents his talent to bullshit? What are you talking about? He was trying to put off lockdowns and all the other things to curtail them quicker because he wanted the economy to come back in an election year. That was it. And he was like, this is disease bullshit. It's going to go away with the sunshine. Look, we're all standing outside and I don't have it. He would get it later, twice.
Everything he said did happen, and he didn't.
No, it didn't. No, it didn't.
Want it to happen.
Thank you, Jess, for the super chat. By the way, don't forget, kids, super chat, like, subscribe, patreon.com/HalSparks. Just subscribe. Also, likes are helpful. I'm so bad at this.
Working to get this country up and running, as Fauci telling everybody to hide under the couch.
Yeah. This was March, motherfucker. We're not talking about March a year later when we actually had vaccines that were actually being doled out. Good Lord. In this moment, he had maybe 60 days beforehand had shut down air traffic and all this kind of shit from other countries. And are you nuts?
Also, Ukraine. Okay, Ukraine.
Okay, well, I'm glad we worked out that. See, there's progress.
I want peace, don't you?
Yeah, but peace to me isn't making the victim give in to the attacker. Greg Kelly is would hear a sexual assault going on between a man and a woman in the next room and yell at the woman for screaming.
He seems to want this war to
Somebody's trying to sleep. I got to catch a bus at 6 a.m.
go on forever. And of course, he's lying about his predecessor. Wouldn't say Trump, but kept on saying predecessor.
Right, yeah, because it drives you and Trump nuts. And it's nice to see that it worked. I would like to say congratulations on being, a rhesus monkey in this situation, Greg. We can chalk him up in the success column, guys. Yeah, he reacted to the predecessor thing exactly as we thought. Just saying, it's good.
My predecessor, a former Republican president, tells Putin, quote, "Do whatever the hell you want." That's a quote. A former president actually said that, bowing down to a Russian leader. I think it's outrageous, it's dangerous, and it's unacceptable.
All right.
I agree. Yeah. That, again, zero lies detected.
Donald Trump did not say that to Putin, all right? He was talking about negotiating with our NATO allies to give the certain proportion of their GDP to their defense, right? We can't have NATO if countries are not paying into.
Okay, first of all, fucko, the 2% is not a requirement to stay in NATO. It's not fucking dues. Secondly, all of the in Europe, any country in Europe, if a NATO country was attacked, their entire military would be part of it. The 2% is to pay for us having little meetups and practicing and fighting together and NATO training exercises and shit like that. It's not for the materials that they use are their own, and they will contribute it once the fight happens. Good Lord. And if it does happen, like I said, we won't be all in because we're way the fuck over here. But every single one of them are going to be right at the front line. Their entire military, their Air Force, their Army, their Navy, if they have one, will be committed to this fight. The 2% is about them coordinating these practice sessions again. And they're much smaller than us. Collectively, the EU puts in more than 2%. The NATO countries that are in the EU put more than 2% of their collective amount, just like the United States would. So the countries with having a harder time, like, we're not just going to kick out any of the poor countries, because I got news for you. Fucking Orban and Turkey would be fucked.
The defense of their country, you have to have a worthy military partner to be in our military alliance.
Well, then, Greg, I think what you should do is you should go over there and visit with all the military leaders that are over there. If you can, they'll see you. You're a pretend newsman, and tell them that they're not worthy to their face. I mean, it's what Trump would do. Just say it to him.
It was a negotiating technique. He didn't say that to Putin.
No, he said he would talk to Putin and tell him to do your worst. Just go for it. He said he would talk to Putin. And he does talk to Putin. He considers him a friend. He's closer with Putin than he is with any of our European allies and certainly any of our NATO leaders, except for Orban, who he seems to suck up to, who's also got his toe in fucking Team Putin.
You want to know who gave Putin the green light? Putin, go ahead and invade Ukraine? He did. Joe Biden did. Just a few days before the invasion actually happened.
And I'm not so sure he is certain what he's going to do. My guess is he will move in. He has to do something.
My guess is he will move in. He's got to do something, Putin. After all, he moved his tanks all the way down there to the border with Ukraine. He's got to do something. What about saying, don't do this, don't cross the line or else? Obama and Biden not good at...
Okay. Notice that Greg Kelly's people, it's interesting. As shitty as they are at Chiron and other stuff, one of the things that they do is slice the edges off of stuff to like drive down, whatever Biden is saying, to make it like, basically to remove all context. That's the goal, is remove all context from that quote, so that it's not about him going, he's got to do something. Otherwise, why is he doing this? He's not dicking around. This is going to be something. And this was around the time when they noticed that he was bringing in the medics and stuff. It wasn't just the tanks were there. He was bringing in the sort of background force that's needed for an invasion. And that's the part where they were like trying to tell Zelensky and everybody, like, this is what's happening.
Establishing red lines to not move across, right?
Well, they're not a NATO country. And if he had, what were you guys going to do? Say he declared war on Russia over another country? Then what? What if he doesn't bomb Russia after he draws a red line over their border with another country? You think your response would have been, well, you know, yeah, obviously he didn't mean it. He couldn't mean it because then we'd be they're a nuclear power. Like,
and here's more weakness. What's going to happen here? Oh, we might think about sanctioning him in some way, shape, or form.
So I'm going to begin to impose sanctions in response far beyond the steps we and our allies and partners implemented in 2014. And if Russia goes further with this invasion, we stand prepared to go further as with sanctions.
Oh, I'm sure that did not freak Putin out. This is why most Americans...
It's weird when someone uses a sarcastic tone to say a direct statement. He's like, I'm sure. I'm sure that freaked him out. Would be the tone that would go with the sarcastic statement. But he used sarcasm with the actual regular statement because he's stupid.
Americans believe that the invasion of Ukraine would not have happened under President Trump. With President
Right, they wouldn't have had to. They could have just continued to undermine it from within.
Trump in office, Putin wouldn't have done it. Remember, Putin got a good look at Biden in Lake Geneva just a few months before he invaded. Does Biden look tough there, right? No, he looks like a compromised goofball.
Sorry, dude. You want to play video of Donald Trump after he's met with Vladimir Putin? Also, do you notice, is there this moment where, like, Biden's not looking at him, he's smiling at somebody else who's there. They're standing there to take a picture or whatever, and you grab that middle of it. Why don't you show that whole shot of Trump where he's walking out like fucking Bigfoot, like he just had Putin's thumb up his ass?
More from last night that really, the dishonesty, it infuriates me.
Which is a weird feeling for you, Greg. I know you're not comfortable with impotent anger, and this might be your first time feeling it. So it's a new feeling, you know. Are you there, God? It's me, Rage Boner.
And that he gets away with it. The fake news just says that this is okay. It's not.
Last year, the murder rate saw the sharpest decrease in history. Violent crime.
Oh, fuck. Look at this. Look at the chyron on this one. Get out of here. What? Look at this. I'm sorry. I hate that the line is over that in the middle of it, but crime is still pretty much a living crisis, Joe. That's what you decided to put. You're going to follow up with Biden being a goofball, a compromised goofball, because he's smiling in a picture, right? A freeze frame that you grab, and then you're going to show us what a tough guy you are with that. That's fucking amazing. that might be my favorite my throwback. Where's the? I'm never gonna be able to look it up. He had one of these early on, early Greg Kelly. There was one of these this may be possibly the worst thing we might have seen in one of these. Yeah, that's it. But this might top it out. I think this is my favorite so far. This might be my favorite one ever. Yeah. Crime is still pretty much a living crisis, Joe. Pretty much. It's still pretty much a living crisis. Pretty much a crisis or pretty much a living crisis? Which means, did you put living because ongoing was too big and you already had too many words? Is that what it was? I think that that's where my money is. I'm going with ongoing crisis the O's made the words too big. And so he had to, yeah.
Fell to one of his lowest levels in more than 50 years.
Murder. I've never seen anybody killed in my life outside of war. Have you? Right.
Killed. Car accident. I've seen somebody killed in a car accident. I've seen somebody die. Well, yeah. And I mean, I've never seen anybody killed like that. And I also don't know that Greg in the air, I mean, I think he's seen video of it, but he wasn't on the ground. He was either he was a pilot or he worked on carriers.
Right? Most people don't see shootings or murder. What we are all seeing is legalized shoplifting. We are.
Okay, so no, we're not all seeing that. You're all seeing video of it because not everybody lives in one of the 3 cities that's had major issues with this stuff that have since cracked down on it. And what you're talking about with these pieces of video that he's throwing up there, this is not violent crime. He was talking about the murder rate specifically. Yeah, I think Greg has a military shot that he shows all the time. And I think he's in a flight suit, if I'm not mistaken. It was him and George W. Bush. They were both, yeah, whatever. And the idea that it's legalized shoplifting or whatever, or that these thefts, are effectively like gang activities. These are organized crime activities, right? Beyond just like people storming in, like large groups, like mobs of regulars going in there. They're coordinated groups of a lot of people going in and doing these things or whatever. And now they're starting to arrest them. They busted a huge one in San Francisco recently. This is allegedly Koga Park, California, Saturday. Hold on one second. Let's see if we can find what the fuck. Koga Park, California, shoplifting. So a mob of 50 shoplifters hits Nordstrom store in Koga Park. There we go. Hold on. This is the... we had smash and grabs in California in the 90s, too. Page no longer exists. Oh. Why is that? Back up. California smash and grabs. Oh. That's a 2-year-old article. I'm trying to find March 2023. Why shoplifters keep heading to Koga Park in 2022? Apparently it's a thing. MSN. So weird. The page won't come up. Hold on. Koga Park shoplifters. Saturday. San Fernando Valley Sun. Mob of 50 shoplifters hits Nordstrom. August 12th, 2023. Huh? Let's see. I don't see footage of it. But allegedly, you got 30 to 50 people. Mob of 50 masked and hoodie wearing people smashed displays, grab merchandise at Koga Park store today. Mass shooting occurred just after 4 p.m. in store on Victory Boulevard, east of Topanga Canyon Boulevard in Westfield, said Los Angeles. A cell phone video posted on X show male and female suspect grabbing clothing, bags, running from the store. There were 30 to 50 people involved. The mall was not evacuated, he said. An ambulance was summoned to the store to treat a male who was sprayed with bear spray. The heist was similar to what Glendale police calls a flash mob that struck the Yves Saint Laurent store at the Americana Brand Mall in Glendale about 4:50 on Tuesday. The suspect stole clothing and other merchandise before fleeing on foot and leaving the location in numerous vehicles. I don't know why they're even talking to cops, because it's legalized, isn't it? It's legal. Yeah. The suspects grabbed as much merchandise as possible before fleeing in multiple vehicles. That crime was also captured on video, which was widely circulated. Copyright 2023. These flash mob burglaries involve a large coordinated group of individuals simultaneously rushing into the store, overwhelming staff, and taking it over. That's this is the Nordstrom, and it's from August of 2023. I mean, it may have happened again. Let's see. There's an article that literally says, August 2023, August 2023. Raided by flash mob. That's Saturday. Okay. Yeah, here you go. This is the 6 months old. Okay, that's why it says Saturday in the thing. That's why he's saying it. Okay, so this is the thing. A group of men and women shattered the store's glass, stealing $100,000 worth of designer items. You know, because they're hungry. More than 30 people wearing ski masks and matching clothing burst into matching clothing. Well, that's good. At least they were coordinated. Shattering glass is a business, you know. The black and gray clad crowd made off with more than $100,000 worth of merchandise in a matter of minutes. Dominic Coy told the police commission on Tuesday. LAPD said they were not sure if this robbery is connected to other store invasions, but working on any connections. Store employee wanted to remain anonymous, said she saw the robbery clearly and told the LA Times that the breaking shards of glass sounded like gunshots. She said she advised customers to hide in a safe room in case things got violent. It was awful to watch. 45-second video posted on X, formerly known as Twitter, shows the barging in store, grabbing clothes, handbags. That would be this guy right here. Let's see if this is the same one that he's showing. Yeah, this is the same. This is the same place, just different angle. Yeah. Oops. That person slipped, but that's actually a dummy. So no one fell. All right. Uh-huh. Just not even, you know, and part of it was the mask thing that made a big spike in it or whatever. But also August 12th, 2023.
Seeing this, and it is redefining
that's the guy.
society.
That's the guy we just saw walk around. And yet on Greg's show, it says Saturday, Koga Park, California. Would that be sort of would you constitute that as fake news, everybody? Think anybody else pointed that out to fucking Greg or his people? Or do you think they just ran this old footage that they had from last year and they just didn't bother to take out the Saturday Koga Park part, even though it was 6 months ago? Because what good is it if if it happened 6 months ago, if you have to put up there August 2023? Thanks, Palmbird. I'm glad I can be here in these moments to not only point out the hilariously stupid fucking chyrons that they have under here, the throwback chyrons to an even dumber Greg Kelly show that we, back in the beginning, because I think when they moved him, they fired some of his staff, and they seemed to get professional at least, and he was the biggest dumbass in the building. Now that's back to everybody being a complete failure. This didn't happen Saturday. It happened on a Saturday, it would seem, 6 months ago. But tell us again how Joe Biden is lying, Greg.
It has been essentially legalized.
It has not been legalized.
Gang assaults happening in broad daylight. The country is falling apart, in large part thanks to Black Lives Matter and what happened after that. This man went on a rampage at a McDonald's with an axe. He was out on the street 3 hours later. Pretty amazing, isn't it? America.
Also, I don't know the basis of this case or whatever. The idea that he was out on the street 3 hours later, I kind of call bullshit. Hold on, let's see if we can find it. Man in viral, viral axe, video restaurant. I don't know where it is. Arrested. Let's just go with that. McDonald's Axeman speaks out. Whoops, hold on. So you're gonna create McDonald's axe, and here you go. Michael Palacios reveals why he carries a hatchet over a gun. Says he's not unhinged. The accused man who flew into an axe-wielding rampage, Lower East Side McDonald's, told the Post owner he's not unhinged and just did what anyone would do in his situation. Michael Palacios, a 31-year-old Manhattan messenger, said his axe-capades, Gotta love the fucking New York Post. This is the story. Hold on. Get out of here, you dick. Let's. I'll shrink this down. He just did what anyone would do in his situation. Michael Palacios, a 31-year-old Manhattan messenger, said his escapades were all about trying to scare the McDonald's patrons who punched him during a beef early Friday. As he also shared his philosophy on why he prefers his tomahawk to a gun. Think about it. If you only think that the thing you can protect yourself with is a gun, you're all going to go to fucking jail. With a hatchet, I have my options. Throw it or just smash a fucking table. With a gun, all you do is shoot. I'm not unhinged, said the man who was released without bail under the state's controversial bail reform laws. I'm not psychotic. I just did what anybody would do when being pummeled. What would you do? Take out your phone and call 911? I'm not a loose cannon. I don't think just because I'm angry and going through some shit, I'm going to hurt other people. People are saying, oh, these guys are lucky. It had nothing to do with luck. It's not luck. They didn't get chopped up. I didn't chop them up because I didn't want to. Everybody's talking about how I should be in jail. I did my 18 hours, bro. What else do you want? Why do I have to be in jail? I'm not going to make a race thing just because I'm big and black. It's New York City. I've been here for a long time, and there's always been crime. I got hit in the head with a hammer at the corner like 10 years ago while I was walking the store, some random dude. So 10 years ago, somebody got hit with a hammer. Today, somebody hit a table with a fucking hatchet. I think things are getting better, if you ask me. All right, sure. Cell phone footage from the rampage inside the Delancey Street fast food eatery shortly before 2:30 a.m. shows Palacios trying to talk to a woman in the restaurant. An Uber Eats driver who shot the incident on his cell phone said Palacios grew angry when the woman rejected him, but Palacios said that's not how it went down, claiming the violent incident stemmed from an argument with a patron after a security guard at the eatery refused to let him use the bathroom. I'm like, yo, bro, come on, open the bathroom. And then I hear, yeah, you don't have to be mean about it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. I don't even look back. I just said it, and then it all became, oh, I'll slap you. I'm like, where are you going to slap me? And that's when I came at the guy with the black tank top. And eventually I just got tired of these dudes backing me up, and I just slapped one of them. It had nothing to do with attacking women. The woman had no issues. I had no issues with the woman. But 3 patrons jumped him and pummeled him with punches, even as he appeared to remain calm, according to the Uber Eats driver. I showed composure. People just see blankness, but I was processing. You ever download a program and the Apple sign spins? That was me processing. Palacios then pulled out an axe and smashed up the restaurant. Just another day in New York. I wanted to intimidate them, he told the Post. I also wanted to show them that the hatchet was real. It's not a toy. Nobody trains for this. The average person doesn't train to fight off 3 people. I'm just lucky, I guess, that I drink enough water and I do push-ups to fend off 3 young adults. I'm just a regular guy, no military training. Palacios said he told the woman during his rampage, don't be hanging out with punk-ass dudes because they're going to get you into problems like this. After that, I shook her hand. I understand it was a very intense situation, a lot of drama going on. How did this end up? Greg Kelly, how did it end up that I suddenly like this guy? What the fuck is wrong with you? I can't be for people waving hatchets around in public, and yet somehow, I sort of feel for this dude. He got jumped by 3 people. He didn't start hacking away at him, and then when he got up, even though he had a hatchet, he just smashed glass on a table. I mean, it's a good way to get killed if you know. It's very Florida man. I will say that if he moved to Florida, we wouldn't have even heard about this shit. I got jumped once in Chicago. I told him I was never going to let that shit happen again. Honestly, I just randomly picked it up at Home Depot a couple weeks ago. It was still in my bag. That's why he has he just had a hatchet in his bag. And this is, see also, axe-wielding madman runs amok in New York City McDonald's, and nobody was loving it. You got to love fucking... I don't know, did they show the footage of him getting beat up first? Oh yeah, so hold on. Apparently, they do show, let's see if I can slow this down in here. This is the situation. He's smashing tables, but there's I want to say there's a shot of, at the beginning of it, back this up. That's him getting the axe out of his bag. Right, and he starts smashing the table, and there's a guy like who punched him. Yeah, there you go. That's them punching him in the face. He's sitting at the table, and like that, he's got his back to him, and these 3 guys start beating on him. Then he goes to his bag and he gets his hatchet out, and I'm like, okay, fucking hell. But that's the important thing is that Greg Kelly wants you to know, black man scary. I think that's pretty much the message here. Yeah. It's so weird. It's just so weird. He should have been remanded to jail. I would argue there's something to that. I don't necessarily think, you know, that, you know, if you're willing to wield an axe in a situation like that. But I also think the other three people after the video came out who clearly assaulted him and got into that altercation, everybody's got to go. Spend their 18 hours. It's weird. Yeah, this is just weird.
Is falling apart. We all know it. He tried to say we're safer now than in a half century.
Well, yeah. You know what it was like in the fucking 70s in New York City? Aren't you from New York?
These are lies. And this I think is a threat. This, I think, is illegal.
Uh-oh.
It's a decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. The Supreme Court majority wrote the following.
Oh, this is like, you're going to see the power that women have or whatever. It's a political threat, dummy. It means they're going to vote.
And with all due respect, justices, women are not without electoral power. Electoral or political power. You're about to realize just how much you're right about that.
Electoral or political power. Meanwhile, this motherfucker wants us all to believe that when Trump said, I want you to walk down there peacefully and patriotically, and I'm going to go with you. But when we get there, if Mike Pence doesn't have the guts to do what's right, we're going to have to be strong, or we won't have a democracy, and you're going to have to fight for your democracy. Once you, fight for your country, rather, once we get down there, which was effectively like, don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes, or I tell you to attack, which is what that meant. That we're supposed to believe was him being, that peacefully and patriotically wipes out all the show up on Jan 6, it'll be wild, talking to these motherfuckers into bringing bear spray and guns and Confederate flags and that shit. Yeah, that was what Trump wanted, even though he took down the magnetometers so they couldn't check for guns and all that kind of shit because he knew they were going to walk from there to the fucking Capitol. And they're not here to kill me. I don't give a shit, right? Meanwhile, they're stomping around yelling, hang Mike Pence, and he's just sitting there laughing or throwing ketchup at the wall. And he wants us to believe in that context that this was a threat to the Supreme Court. You're going to find out how much electoral and political power women have.
The Supreme Court is going to find out how much political power women have? Well, what is that supposed to mean?
It's supposed to mean that women disagree with the way that ruling went. And it is going to affect the people who are elected, and it will also affect the balance of power in the SCOTUS over time. You're about to find out, you dumb fuck, you're about to find out that you're going to be replaced. The conservative judges who are behind pushing this, you're going to be replaced when it's your time by someone on our side of the aisle because women are going to make sure of it. That's what it means. It's self-evident to anyone who isn't a tongue-jutting moron.
What are they supposed to make of that? What is going through the mind of Justice Kavanaugh?
Beer? I don't know. Hops, right? Hops. Squee would never talk to me like this. Squee, I'd like to have a beer right now. This scary old man yelling at me. A beer would make the pain go away. Squee! Squee! That's pretty. I'm pretty sure that's what he's saying. Yeah, boofing. He's thinking about boofing. Sorry, I didn't hear a whole thing. I didn't hear anything he said. I was just thinking about boofing again.
This man has been so threatened. They actually unleashed a mob on his front lawn, which
really? Did they trample his daisies? A mob. They unleashed. Let's just think about the sentence there. They, presumably the Illuminati deep state Biden regime, released a mob because they were apparently holding them back until just the right time. Released a mob onto his front lawn. Hold on. Yeah.
Man has been so threatened. They actually unleashed a mob on his front lawn.
They actually, did they? Actually? I don't want to nitpick all the dumb sentences in this, but did they actually release a mob onto, his front lawn?
Which is in violation of federal law. You're not allowed to protest outside of a federal judge's home because the thinking is you might influence his decision, and I think that's what they want to do. You know,
did it work? No. It didn't. Roe v. Wade was still overturned. I don't know why you're not congratulating him for fighting the mob with one piece of poster board, with, by the way, that was so fresh, it still had the sticker from Rite Aid on it, the price sticker on it. And it wasn't even double-sided. They didn't even have time to actually paint it both ways. So, and I would like to say, anybody who's going to a protest like that, get yourself 2 pieces of poster board, make a poster on each side, and stick them together. Drawing on both sides, sometimes it'll bleed through, so you need 2. Stick them together with some, just some Elmers. Do you some good on the stick, and that way it seals it around the thing or whatever. And then while you're standing there, the person you're protesting sees what you're there about, and the people behind you or might be filming it will also see what, because for all we know, this lady was like, I know Squee, and he sends his love.
You know, a man showed up with a bag full of weapons. Yeah, wanted to kill Justice Kavanaugh.
Right, and obviously the Biden deep state allowed him to do it. That's what regimes do. I mean, honestly, don't we live in a communist, fascist, oligarchy, something or other? I mean, honestly, how did we know if nobody stopped him? Also, by the way, I would like to tell you that if he was wearing the Glock openly, Greg and all of his friends would want him would be irritated if anyone asked him where he was going.
Notice when
yeah, that's the guy who turned himself in, right?
The president there laid into the Supreme Court justices.
Did he lay into them? He laid into them, did he? When he told them they're about to find out the political and electoral power of women. Ugh. Ugh. He hit him with the lady stick.
Schumer was clapping. He thought that was just great. Ooh, isn't that nice, laying into the Supreme Court? You are all about to find out just how much power women in this country have.
Yeah, ew. Who supports that? Women power, yuck. Ugh. That's just, and you know it's fake. Because not only is he supporting the power that women have, he's pretending that he supports the power that women have. Whichever side of this issue I think I'm supposed to be on at any given time, I don't know. I'm unsure.
Remember when he said this?
I want to tell you, Kavanaugh, you have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
Yeah, he was talking to a large group of women, and he was talking specifically about this issue. Now, I would argue that Joe Biden, the guy who I voted for and will vote for again, was way better at it, was more articulate about it, and his language, he chose his words more carefully. Maybe that's the effect of a man who's had a stutter his whole life, is that he's very aware of the words that he's saying, and he doesn't play fast and loose with them as much as he used to, whereas Schumer was trying to, like, rile up a crowd in that regard, and you guys would take that and weaponize it. You know, that's fine, whatever. But I would like to say that the president, the guy I voted for, and I've been able, because I don't live in New York, did a great job articulating that point. And apparently, look, even crime is going down, as you stated, Greg. Here's Schumer saying something you think is like a 9 on the violence scale, and Biden saying something that's a 6. Yeah.
You won't know what hit you.
That statement is worse than anything that was uttered by any public official,
including Joe Biden, I think. It's an excellent point. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, I mean, it's an allegory. Sure.
on January 6th.
What? Yeah, you think Fight Like Hell doesn't? Yeah, you know what? Fight Like Hell could just be like you trying to open up a bag of chips without getting Doritos dust all over your shirt. I understand.
That right there is a crime. And it looks to me like they're trying to set up poor Justice Kavanaugh.
What? They're trying to how's that the bailout? What?
Crime. And it looks to me like they're trying to set up poor Justice Kavanaugh.
What edit is that? Set him up. Set him up? What the fuck? Why? Because he's on the end? What are you talking about? That's amazing. No, dummy. It's actually a warning to the older ones. In theory, it'd be, I guess Thomas and Alito, right? Maybe, I mean, Gorsuch isn't that old, but maybe that's, if you're looking at the age Pez dispenser, those would be the ones you'd think about. And the biggest one, I think, being Thomas, the one that's possibly will step down in short order, especially when Biden is reelected, it's going to be Thomas. So he's going to get replaced by somebody who's clearly more liberal. That would be who, if they're setting someone up. Even if you just look at like all the stories about Clarence Thomas is taking, getting all this money from this Republican donor and going on all these trips and throwing his weight behind judgments that would benefit this dude and all this. Like, you'd think they're setting up Clarence Thomas, right? That's where you would automatically go, wouldn't it? I mean, you could load that 3 sentences and you're out. Like all this stuff about him taking bribes and stuff that I don't believe any of it. And clearly they're trying to set him up, they can drive him out of office and replace him, and that's what why Kavanaugh? Jesus Christ. I don't even know. Is he the same age? Is he older than Amy Coney Barrett? I mean, it's not that anybody fucking matters, right? Weird.